I'm just elated today because I just feel like I was really blessed. I made a lot of changes over the last 5 years, and it's been accelerating with us talking to each other. I did two things today that I've been sitting on for 3 months. Why not get this done right now? And I'll tell you, it came from when we were talking about why are you hesitating? You said something about hesitating, but we were talking about women and letting them go. But this was the same thing. Why am I hesitating on this particular thing? And all is relating to the same thing. And it was another level of not being confident, but I couldn't see it. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. That's what I was really saying to myself.
And what
And
ultimately got you to do it? Was it you recalling the coaching?
oh, yeah, just after we talked about that delaying, I think in the next couple of days, I woke up one day and I said, this is unacceptable. We're doing this today. And I was done by lunchtime, first one. And it has continued to today. I did two of these items that I'm telling you, it was the strangest thing because I'm in computers, but one of them wasn't working. And it's been like that for 2.5 months. And I'm catching these things now because I'm saying to myself, here's another instance. Now on Sunday, when I went up to Dallas, or I was coming back from Dallas, I got a flat. And here I'm waiting for AAA for 2 hours to fix a flat. Now, the reason why I didn't try to fix it myself was it's an SUV. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way I can do an SUV. And after 2 hours, I'm saying, I need to look and see whether I can do this or not. I'm afraid, whatever. I get out the jack and I'm starting to jack it up. But what happened was I didn't really set it correctly at the right part of the vehicle. And it started like bending a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'll leave that alone. But at least I went after it.
Taking that action, getting rid of that hesitation, man.
And it was nothing. The one thing I'll say about the coaching is that you looked at me and you said, I can see some things that you're doing or might be curious about why you're doing certain things to trigger me to look inside myself to answer why. And you know what? I didn't know why, and I didn't even know I was doing. I was doing that until you brought it out. It surprises me. Like we talked about it, I had some hesitation for a while about doing it because it was difficult to see the benefit of it. But when you go through it and you get that strange feeling, you're just talking off the cuff of your head, this is happening, that is happening. You're just talking. I couldn't see myself as to what I was doing, but you could observe that stuff. And it was subtle. I mean, it just like one day I just woke up and it hit me in a different direction. It wasn't about a woman, it was about, just things I'm sitting around not doing. There's a purpose down the road because there are bigger things that I can do. These are smaller things. It's changing a filter, throwing some stuff, wiring some stuff through a wall, but I think it's leading to being able to now accomplish some bigger tasks.
Absolutely. And when you came into coaching with me, with the Limitless crew, did you know what was wrong? Did you have any idea?
I actually didn't. I actually did. It was on a few fronts, right? One was I've been looking, I've been dating women over the past few years, and I kind of thought about that I needed to know what I was looking for, but you made it kind of more formal in terms of setting criteria. I never really thought about setting criteria. And what has happened is that through that criteria, you're now able to eliminate a greater part of the population, right? Instead of now, let me do some trial and error, let me try this one because that might be it, or that one, because rather than saying, hey, what are the things that you really, let's take some inventory here. So that's a concept. And then we talked about the book Die with Zero, which was very instrumental in a lot of things. there's offshoots of this learning as well. I mean, number one, it did lead me to make the decision to retire because now I'm seeing life a bit differently,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that's a vision that I never had before. So again, that was another thing. Actually, that's very significant because it also has now made me focus. I mentioned to you, I went up there and I gave a gift to that young lady that graduated from college.
Yes.
And it made me, my focus was giving something to someone now. She's a young lady. She needs a seed to,
Oh,
move on and prosper.
yeah.
And that thing right there it was in my mind.
Excellent, man. My personal favorite journey and success that you've had is reconnecting with your son. And can you walk me through that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but this one might have been more in terms of being more confident to go with that because there was another thing that happened. And see, these are all offshoots, right?
Mhm.
You said go out by yourself, take a trip by yourself. So I go out one day and I made it a point to make sure I went out that day. And I met this guy and he talked about his daughter, how they were separated. And one day they came together and they hugged. And the net of it is by the end, he said, you got to fix this thing with your son. Now, here I had connected with a total stranger. I've never met him, never seen a guy before in my life. Now we've connected such that we even hang out now. But I took action just from that seed to go ahead and take action and talk to his mother, and that led to talking to him. And we had a 2-hour conversation, which I was able to very calmly explain to him that basically he saw it as, I was missing my father. Me, I saw it as, well, I was being there. Every other weekend was being there. I could not see that for a little boy. For me, it was okay every other, but for a little boy, and when you're young, time is very, very long.
Yeah.
And that was like an eternity for him.
Yeah.
So we both understood each other at that particular time. There was no, I intended to do this or stay away from you. It was, we had different concepts of reality at that time. And we came and we had a very good conversation, and it led to further conversation down the road and us trying to come back together. So, I think it was extremely effective. And
And
these are the things that you get.
he's going to kind of follow in your footsteps too, right?
Oh
With
yeah,
as far as industry.
yeah, and so that was one of the things he definitely wanted me to kind of help him go into information technology as well. And so I'm trying to do my best. I bought him a laptop, and I'm trying to. In fact, we'll talk about this more in our next meeting, but trying to see how to help the next person. And remember, I had mentioned to you I was connecting a friend of a friend to a job. I
Yes.
don't know if you,
Yes. Yes.
and making sure that I completely gave to this person. Now it's up to them. Kind of like what you give to us, now it's up to me to be able to now take that and convert it into a benefit. I think all these things are connected, and you may talk about them from one perspective, but they're valid in multiple ways. And that's the benefit of it. I think this is where it really sticks because these are common themes that permeate one's life, and it's
Yeah.
causing a number of different things. And now to get past it, and also now the one thing you have to say is that you're not the only person that's there. You're getting the benefit of hearing someone else's story from a different perspective because it's me, it's
Oh yeah, like the
getting.
guys in the group in Limitless Crew, like
Yeah,
everybody. Yeah.
absolutely. And you might hear them say something, and it's like, wow, that applies to me as well. But I just hadn't thought about that particular thing that happened whenever. So yeah, you get a lot. And then the replays themselves, I think that's where there's even more, I guess, getting more solid with it, being able to go back and see stuff you might have missed or confirm what you're saying, or now that you've gone out and you've thought about how I can use this information, that you're now able to, kind of see it and say, oh yeah, I didn't remember that.
A lot of guys hesitate, right? A lot of guys are afraid to invest more money in themselves to get to that place where they really want to feel like they belong and are like really living life. What would you tell those guys?
Well, what I would say is, I would say it's priceless from the standpoint of you're never going to know how you're going to benefit from it down the road. But for me, I've actually gotten back the money that I've spent because I made a decision that helped me long term. We talked about this, who knows? Like, I got a job that was perfect for me. So, who knows? Like that person that's looking for this job down the road that needs to make a decision on something. All of a sudden, your mind is different, and you're going for it. You're saying the right thing. You've studied the right thing you need to study. So it's the downstream things that you may not even see. You might even feel better. Like today, I'm elated. I'm really feeling great because I did those two things and I didn't think about them. I didn't flinch. I just did them. And the job is there, and lots of things are happening as an offshoot from this. So it's kind of hard to see what you don't know is going to happen, but definitely you'll benefit from it, either in your happiness. You're going to make money from it because you're going to make better decisions, and that's what we're doing. And so when you talk about hesitation, I don't know if you remember, I've always had difficulty making a decision. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you hear about that delay, and all of a sudden I can't tell you how many things I did today
I love
because I just did them. They just happened.
And so, like you said, right, you've already made your money back for the program that you've done with me so far, and probably a good bit more if we're talking about the same thing that I think we're talking about. And,
Yeah, yeah.
and congratulations